Greetings, friends. Marc David here, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. Happy Sunday. Well, at least it's Sunday here in beautiful Boulder, Colorado. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming by. Do me this favor. Let me tell you this first. I am going to be talking about timeless coaching tips, the beauty of uncertainty. That's the coaching tip, the beauty of uncertainty. So we're going to dive into this topic in a couple more minutes. So what I want to do to get rolling and get started is just schmooze a little bit, say hi, and you can help me do this, by the way, by in the comments section just below. Say your name. Well, your name's going to show up. Just say hi and say where you're from. And you can also press likes and press hearts and send some love my way. So I'm going to wait a few more minutes for people to pop on. We're going to be talking about timeless coaching tips, the beauty of uncertainty. I really think you're going to like this. Even if you've heard me speak about this before, we'll put some new twists on it. Hello, Miss Nancy McLaughlin Jennings from Kentucky. All right, glad you're here. Thanks for coming by. Again, feel free to say hi in the comments section below. Let me know where you're from if you're just popping on. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. You know, what we're going to cover today. Hello, Melissa from Brisbane, Australia. Glad you came by. So everything I'm talking about today, everything I talk about in Facebook Live, just about, especially as it relates to coaching, is really so similar, same material, small amount, that we have in our professional training that we offer through the Institute, the Eating Psychology Coach Certification Training. We start another one soon. Early in 2017 in the winter. So now's the time to learn more. Now's the time to start applying. Training is by application only. You'll be certified as an eating psychology and mind-body nutrition coach, fully online. You could take it from anywhere in the world. Powerful body of work. Hello, Melissa. Hello, Zainab from Toronto, Canada. Hey, Steph from Wisconsin. And Joe is here from New Zealand. I so appreciate you coming by. On this lovely day. I'm looking outside at a lot of snow here in Colorado. We're going to be talking about a timeless coaching tip today, the beauty of uncertainty. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the hearts. You know, hello, Mr. David Kennedy. I'm glad you're here. I love this topic. I love this topic. The concept of uncertainty, the way I learned it, the way it landed in my court, really changed my life. David's from LA. Glad you're here, my friend. Yeah, I was just in Southern California a few months ago in Laguna Beach. I loved it there. Hello, Kate from St. Louis. So when I was first introduced to the topic of uncertainty, my life changed in a big way. I'm so glad you're here again as well. Anita from Budapest. How cool is that? Okay. So here's the story. I was in graduate school. This was about 100,000 years ago. And I'm learning psychology. And I'm in a beautiful big hall with probably 100 students. And there's a panel of teachers. And I forget the topic. And they were taking questions from the audience and people were sharing. So here's the thing. Every graduate student, I was one of them that raised their hand, had something very authoritative and intelligent and wise to say, supposedly, about whatever the topic was that we were talking about. And everybody was jumping in with their opinion. That was very well rehearsed and well spoken. And at some point, one of the members of the panel, one of my professors, and this was my first few weeks of school, Gordon Tappan, the late Dr. Gordon Tappan, he says, "Hey, I have a question." And he's the kind of guy that when he talks, he's not a big show. But the room got quiet. And he said, "My question is this." He said, "What about uncertainty?" And it was the last thing I thought I would hear coming out of his mouth. And I was thinking, what about it? Hello, Miss Minya. Glad you're here. Like, what about uncertainty? And the room was quiet and it was stopped. And I'm trying to understand what he meant because it felt important. And all of a sudden I realized everybody's talking as if they know something and nobody really knows anything and we're just being in conjecture. And the moment that he said, "What about uncertainty?" there was this collective silence. And in that silence there was, for me, there was a deepening. It felt like there was a deepening. And in that deepening, I realized I needed to be more patient. I needed to think before I speak. And I needed to understand I don't know everything. And that knowing something isn't a sign of knowing something. It's oftentimes a sign that we think we need to know something. So here's the thing. We put all this value on knowing. Now here I am. I'm talking, from the standpoint of a teacher in the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, and we teach things, so we know things. Our job is to know stuff and to convey it. So yeah, that's important. But at the same time, there's a beautiful balancing act that has to happen between knowing and not knowing. Because the fact is, sometimes we have to relax into the fact that we don't know. You might not know when you're going to die. You might not know when things are going to turn around for you, when you're going to get happier, when you're going to get less depressed, when you're going to lose weight. You might not know what to do with somebody. You might not know what to do with a certain problem that you have, with a friend who's come to you, with a client. So, hello, Ann. Knowing and lack of knowing is just as important and will open a door to healing. I think that is so true. For me, I have learned actually not only to relax into the moments when I don't know, and I'm using uncertainty and not knowing, I'm using those terms interchangeably. We usually see uncertainty as a weakness. We see not knowing as a weakness, and not knowing and uncertainty, you can sit in that as a power and as a strength, because check this out. Technically and logically speaking, knowing anything is always preceded by not knowing, right? Anything you know about anything was preceded originally by you didn't know. Somehow you learned it and somehow you incorporate it. So it's the flow of the universe. And there are certain situations where we get really uncomfortable when we don't know, when we're uncertain, especially in a professional moment when you're with a client. Your job is to know, right? No. My job is to coach. My job is to be present. Yes, my job is to help my client get to their goal, or to help them define an even better goal for themselves, because sometimes people, us, our clients, friends, and loved ones, we choose goals that don't quite make sense, and we get everybody behind us to get to our goal. It's maybe the goal is not such a great idea to begin with. So the more we as professionals, and this is a life lesson, you know this, but the more we as professionals can sit in not knowing, the more, when the knowing comes, it's present, we can understand it. And I am suggesting, in Zen they call this beginner's mind. So beginner's mind is when you come fresh, you're open. Archana says, relax and flow is the key. Not knowing makes us a learner. It's so true. Tarek says, uncertainty holds negative things equally to positive things. Best poker that can ever be played with respect. It's so true. So, premature knowing. A lot of us just jump the gun, and because we want to know, because knowing means I'm smart, knowing means I got a good ego, knowing means I know more than you because you didn't know, you asked me, I knew, so now I'm the hero, now I'm the good guy. So oftentimes we use knowing as kind of a little ego boost. Makes us feel better about ourselves, but then it shifts the focus on me, the practitioner, and takes it away from the client. Takes it away from the person you're sitting in front of you, because you're worried about your performance as opposed to what they actually need. So when we jump into premature knowing, oh sure, I know what to do with you, we're going to just give you less calories and make you do a bunch of exercise. When we jump into premature knowing, so we can fill in the blanks, so we can sound smart, so we can feel good about ourselves, we often come up with not so great conclusions and not so great strategies. That's just sort of what happens. When you don't spend a little time and plan and look and see and understand what's possible, it's easy to make a not great decision. I want to say this. There is a big difference. Check this out. There's a big difference between uncertainty, not knowing, and confusion. Okay? Here's what I'm calling uncertainty. I'm calling uncertainty, Not quite sure about this. Let me ask some more questions. Let me consider. Wow, you're presenting with a lot of challenges, a lot of symptoms, a lot of concerns, Mr. and Mrs. Client. Let me gather more details. Let me breathe this in. Let me be patient because I'm not quite sure what we're going to do. So that's uncertainty. Confusion is, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. This is terrible. This is awful. I'm confused. Confusion has, I'm defining it as a quality of stress, anxiety, fear that then pushes us to pretend that we have to know something. Rachel says, learning to hold space for those in need comes with our own practice with uncertainty. So true. Because if somebody else cannot solve their own life challenges, and you know our life challenges can feel unsolvable. So if somebody else can't solve their life challenges, how are we supposed to solve them? So technically we are not here to fix them and solve them because we don't quite know. So if we hang out in not knowing, eventually what I'm suggesting is information happens. There's a magic that happens. Let me give you some examples. Give you a few examples to illustrate what I mean. Early on in my career, okay, and I was actually okay with being uncertain because I knew I'm learning on the job. A lady comes to see me. She has low mood. She is having sleeplessness. She is having fatigue. She has no appetite. This is the opposite of what so many people want to do. She wants an appetite. She's losing weight. She's sleepless. It's very puffy around her eyes, and her ankles are swelling up. And I'm like, First thing I think of is food allergies. So we just start talking all about what food she's eating, what's going on. And it turns out she's had allergy testing. And it turns out she's on a very kind of healthy food allergen-free diet. And I'm just like, prescription drugs, recreational drugs, I'm trying to cover because it sounds like there's something medical going on or allergic response going on. And I'm just asking every question I know. And I say to my client, I just don't know. I really don't know. I think you need to gather information. Have you seen a doctor? Yes, saw her general practitioner. General practitioner said, go see a nutritionist. That's why she came to see me. I said, do me a favor. Would you consider going to see somebody a little more learned, get a second opinion, maybe go to an internist? Sure enough, she does. Sure enough, she's got kidney disease, and they caught it just in time. Turns out every symptom she has was a symptom potentially of kidney disease. So my willingness to not know and to not mess around with that actually helped me define my scope of practice and helped me see, oh my goodness, if my brain can't solve it, I might have to get other brains to solve it. Another example, client comes to see me, she wants to lose 90 pounds, okay? And this is an interesting client, and maybe you've had some of these, maybe you know people like this. She wants to lose 90 pounds. She has done everything. This lady, she's no wimp, okay? She's a smart human, done every kind of diet you've ever heard of. You can imagine she's done medical fasting. 3 times she did medical fasting. She would gain 2 or 3 pounds on a medical fast, which, by the way, science considers as medically, technically, physiologically impossible, which it is not. So here's this client, and I'm listening to everything that she's done. She's done the high-protein diet. She's done a vegan diet. I mentioned that she did fasting. That didn't work. And here I am, and I decide, wow. And as I'm covering all the turf, realizing, oh my God, she's done this, she's done this, she's done this, I'm noticing my own stress, my own anxiety picking up because I need to know something. I need to do something. I need to have a suggestion. I need to have a trick up my sleeve because I'm a professional and she's paying me and I don't have this, and that's my cue to relax. Because part of coaching, part of helping another human being is not just working with the practical information that you need to know about nutrition and psychology, and we talk about all that in our training, but you also have to know how to work in the invisible realm just a little bit, in the unseen, because there's something that happens when we relax into the unknown and we relax into uncertainty. And I said to her, listen, you've done everything. You are a smart, motivated woman. Congratulations. You've helped me a lot because you've showed me a long list of everything that doesn't work. So consequently, we're going to have to get creative and consider possibilities that we might not have imagined, that you might not have imagined before. So I'm going to need you to be patient with me and patient with this process, because we're going to have to explore. So right then and there, I'm inviting my client into that place because she's been uncertain. And here I am, the professional. I'm not even getting on my high horse. I'm just saying, yeah, I'm uncertain too. But this is interesting for me. And I want to try to figure this out with you. So we do what we do, which is once we eliminate the metabolic possibilities, the nutritional possibilities, the exercise and the movement possibilities when it comes to weight, once we've eliminated, dis-ease conditions, and we've looked at that and she's had all the testings, here's what I start to learn. We go into her personal story, because oftentimes who we are as human beings, our life, our journey will impact our metabolism. So what I learned about her story is that 25 years ago, now her weight came on about, maybe 15 years ago, but 25 years ago, her infant daughter died of sudden infant death syndrome, which was obviously an awful experience, and she had years and years of counseling and grief therapy and has put it behind her. And she was just very clear, like, been there, done that. And I remember as she was talking about it, I was so affected by it. I mean, what a story, really. What an experience that a human being goes through. And in my understanding, in my experience of life, sometimes our story, our history, our story is so powerful, and our story can easily become biology. It can easily become symptom. It can easily become disease. Our story can become our health. It can become our vitality. So I took a risk because I had a gut instinct. I had an intuition, which is good to trust those if you're a practitioner. It's good to try them out, even if you're uncertain about them. So my intuition was this, and I kind of laid it out for her. I said, hey, here's me. I just have a feeling that there might be more work to do here. I have a feeling that sometimes we just need to make another pass at past experiences that might have been challenging, that might have been hard for us. I'm just wondering if there's more work to do here. And I'm not saying that you haven't done the work, and I'm not saying that this isn't hard. And I could understand you not wanting to open up that part of your life anymore to conversation, but I'm feeling like it's almost getting pushed down. And she got kind of angry at me. She got irritated with me, and at the same time she said she would think about it, when she went home after the session. Which to my mind, I was hearing, okay, you're blowing me off, you're going to fire me, and it's over with. It's Ellie from Chicago. Thanks for tuning in so much. Tarek says, eating psychology certification is really twisting our heads and unveiling nutritional secrets and gave us a better expectation of the uncertain future. Tarek, thank you for the kind words. So these are all people who are in our training or have done our training, and feel free to identify yourselves in case anybody needs an eating psychology coach. Here we are. So she comes back a few weeks later, and wow, did things shift, because she said to me, I can't believe you brought that up, and I can't believe I even listened to you, and I realized that you're right. I have done so much work on this, and it feels like I'm back at the beginning again, because I still live with this guilt every day, and I wasn't aware of it, and it wasn't present for me. And she wanted to dive back into grief therapy. And not only that, it actually changed her career trajectory, because she now decided she wanted to do this work with others because she had so much energy there. Now, I'm going to tell you, the weight never came off in our work together. However, her life changed. However, she had a huge opening. However, her energy changed. Her direction changed. And sometimes, my friends, we have to measure success in the way that success shows up. Because we don't know, uncertainty, when someone's going to lose weight, how much weight they truly have to lose, and oftentimes why it's there and how it's going to come off. We do the best we can. We do the best sleuthing. We use our best skills, the best techniques, whatever we've got, and you got to let the chips fall where they may. So uncertainty often has a way of letting us know that we've got more learning to do. We've got more research to do. You know, a healthy relationship with uncertainty, I think, asks us to be more humble, right? Because we don't know everything. You know, what's one of the main complaints so many people have about doctors? They go to their doctor and the doctor says, oh no, you don't have this, you don't have that, that's nonsense. And people get irritated at doctors oftentimes when doctors do premature knowing. Well, it's not doctors, it's a human trait. Humans do that a lot of times. We like to do premature knowing. So uncertainty can teach us a lot about life. It teaches us humility. It really does, because we don't know all the time. Uncertainty often asks us to be patient and let things unfold. Because when we're patient and when we let things unfold, especially in the coaching relationship, especially in that connecting, intimate, mentoring, clinical experience, when you're with another person, when we are patient, the magic of the universe has a chance to do its thing. Another way of saying patience when we're uncertain is to trust. Because a lot of times what's happening is we are living in a lack of faith and we're living in a lack of trust. And uncertainty asks us to trust that wisdom will eventually come through if we're patient enough. We don't know what that wisdom's going to look like. Perhaps in the moment, the wisdom with my client is, I can't help you, but I have a specialist who maybe could. Or perhaps the wisdom is, okay, let's try this. And okay, let's try that. And let's move in this direction. And let's... But the bottom line is, we have to trust in the moments where knowing is not happening. And indeed, what that does is it causes us to be more present with the other person. Because part of the wisdom and the knowing that comes through is not so much what you're going to squeeze out of your head, but it is what you're going to invent. It is what's going to be revealed in the relationship you have with your client, because you're listening to them and they're giving you feedback and they're talking and you're picking up cues. And oftentimes the answers and the knowing and the knowledge and the next step comes from the kind of questioning you do with your client, because you're getting to know them better, because you're taking more time in that uncertainty, if that makes any sense. So Minya says, wanting to lose weight physically was almost, if not only, an excuse for her to find out what was emotionally waiting her. Good that she found you, tuned into trusting your intuition, accepting, etc. It's so true. You know, I never make the assumption when a client comes to see me that I'm going to help them with their very specific goal. Because people have their very specific goals. I want to totally love my body. Well, not everybody totally, few people totally love their bodies every day, every moment. You're going to have times when you're not loving your body. I don't know that that's a good goal. So I'm never driven to help my client achieve their goal, but what I am driven towards is helping them get what they truly need most. I don't know what that is. They don't always know what that is, but the relationship knows what that is. And as long as I sit in the uncertainty of that relationship, and from there, learn how to ask good questions, learn how to listen, learn to know what distinctions you're listening for from a nutritional standpoint, metabolic standpoint, emotional, psychological standpoint, social standpoint. When you know what distinctions to listen for, then the magic can happen. So uncertainty, my friends, in so many ways. And by the way, feel free to comment in the section below, ask questions. Uncertainty is asking us to be respectful of the timing of the universe. So I get a little cosmic on you here. It's asking us to be respectful that there's a timing that we don't always understand. It's okay. We live in a time when we want to push the fast forward button on everything. You know, you want a fast internet speed, you want a fast car, you want just everything's got to go fast. And I get it, you know, we're compressing time, we're trying to get more stuff done quicker. I get it. Of course, I want to be more efficient. Of course, I want to be great with my time. But at the same time, things take the time that they need. If you want to be born, you pretty much need 9 months in the toaster oven here to come out. That's what life is. If you want to have a good day, then you need sleep. You need X number of hours. Life comes locked and loaded with timing involved. You know, we live a certain amount of time. There's timing. We go through puberty at a certain time. We go through menopause or andropause at a certain time. There's a timing to things. And sometimes we just don't know what that timing is, and it's a good idea to respect it. Kamala says, Mark, my timing, last 23 years now. I don't want to wait longer. I think this is my time. Good for you. You know, sometimes life just talks to us really loud. Sometimes life just busts through our uncertainty with wisdom, with information, with knowledge, with the goodies. But once again, if you have the courage, the will, the strength, the ability to practice being in uncertainty without jumping the gun, gather more information, trust the universe, be patient, be humble, ask good questions, listen for answers, and eventually things start to happen. So my friends, these are some of the skills, some of the tools that we talk about again in our Eating Psychology Coach Certification Training. For those of you who are just tuning in, I want to remind you that we have a new training coming up starting early this winter in 2017. So if you're premature knowing, yes, what a great point. It's true. So if you're interested in that training, you can email us at info@psychologyofeating.com. That's a great way to just kind of get plugged in, ask your questions. You could set up a time to talk with one of our staff. Really great staff, very helpful. And we want you to learn everything about the training online, distance learning, 8-month, really amazing. Sandy says, many clients want fast results. How do you coach a client into relaxing into uncertainty? Yes, Sandy, great question. Let me see if I can answer that. In a moment or two, how do you coach a client into relaxing into uncertainty? A number of different ways. Way number one, how to coach a client to relax into uncertainty is you demonstrate it to them because you let them know by your demeanor, by your voice. So a lot of times, if a client wants fast results really fast, they're going to be a little bit tense, they're going to be talking fast, they're going to be anxious, they're going to kind of have an energy that kind of feels a little bit like this. And over here on the other side, if that's my client, I am going to help them entrain to a different energy, to a different frequency. So I will change my voice. I'm going to speak in a more relaxed way. I'm not going to buy into their tension. I'm not going to buy into their anxiety. And in fact, I might even say something to them like, wow, you have been dealing with this problem. You've been trying to lose weight for 30 years. Wow, that's a long time to put in effort. Or, oh my goodness, you've been dealing with emotional eating for 10 years? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed back to them the amount of time that they've been dealing with this. So you've been dealing with this a long time. And, you know, when I'm dealing with a problem for a long time, I get really antsy and I want to change things really fast. But we're going to try something else I want to suggest to you. So this is how I'm talking to my client. We're going to try something else. Because what I think has been happening in part is you've been stressing into your weight loss. You've been stressing into trying to control your overeating, your binge eating, your emotional eating. You're attacking it. And a lot of times when we stress into something, we're in a lot of stress. And when we're in stress, which means anxiety, fear, tension, judgment, anger, we don't act so effectively. We don't do so effectively. We choose not well. Additionally, when we're in that stress state, we change our metabolism. We deregulate our appetite. We deregulate our ability to properly calorie burn, to absorb nutrients, to digest well, to eliminate well. That's a stress response. So I will prove to my client, in answer to your question, Sandy, I will prove to my client with what we call in our training simple scientific mind cookies. People love simple science that they understand, because simple science is beautiful science. Simple science gets in. Most people hear science and they think, oh my God, no, science is easy to understand. A significant amount of it, especially when it comes to the body, especially when it comes to health. So when you simplify things for people and you show them that they're stressing into wanting a fast result and not relaxing into it is actually stopping them physiologically and emotionally and cognitively from getting where they want to go. So those are the keys in terms of how I would work with that person, Sandy. So, my friends, I really appreciate you hanging out. I appreciate being able to talk about this topic with you. If you know anybody who you think will benefit from this, who would be interested in this, please share it with them. If you or they like our page, then you will get updates as to when I am jumping on Facebook Live, which is right now happening, a good at least 3-4 days a week. So I appreciate you being here. I appreciate us being part of a tribe, having a conversation that matters. For those of you who it is indeed Sunday in your part of the world, thanks for being with me on a Sunday. I really appreciate y'all, and I look forward to more. Have a great day. Take care.